How's it going, everyone? It's Harvey from Weather Sponge 1000, and in this video, we're going to focus on K and determine the impacts you will experience in the Southern California area, where you could experience wind gusts up to 80 miles per hour in localized areas. But before I begin, make sure to subscribe if you want to see more weather-related content. So let's begin by taking a look at the water vapor imagery for Tropical Storm K, which has just recently been downgraded into a tropical storm, which is good news, but it has weakened as expected because of course now it's over the very cool eastern Pacific water temperatures that are further northward. So now we're seeing it weaken as it heads further northward, but it's still a powerful storm that still could bring wind gusts over 70 miles per hour in a lot of areas right around the northern portion of Mexico, and of course around in and around Southern California. So taking a look at the water vapor imagery, we still do see that there's a decent amount of convection just to the north of it, but it is dealing with a lot more stability than before, of course, because now since it's moving over the cooler waters, there's a lot less lift in the atmosphere, a lot less convection. So as a result, we're seeing the thunderstorm activity subside a little bit, but this still could easily bring up to 5 inches of rain in some areas in northern Mexico and in some portions of Southern California as well. So it's best not to underestimate this tropical cyclone as it continues to move northward, because flash flooding is likely, as well as very strong gusty winds, where a high wind warning is in effect for many counties in Southern California. Now, taking a look at the sea surface temperatures, and as you can see, the storm's center of circulation is located right around this area, and we do see that it's over sea surface temperatures are hovering, I'd say, around 75 degrees at this time, which is of course too cold to support to continue to support tropical cyclone strengthening. So as a result, we're seeing a lot less convection as this moves northward, but there's still a powerful storm, and it still will bring strong winds and heavy rain to Southern California as it moves northward. So don't underestimate this storm just because it's weakening, because it's still a fairly powerful storm that could bring major impacts to a lot of areas in Mexico and California. Now, taking a look at the current radar, we do see that there's still heavy rain associated with this storm. The eye is located right around this area. There's no real eye with this system anymore, as we do see, but we still do see heavy rain associated with this storm in general, where we do see heavier thunderstorm bands, and this is all going to move northward to Southern California. If I were to move forward and over the next several hours, we do see that this rain will continue to move northward, and a lot of areas that are very vulnerable to flash flooding, because it doesn't take a lot of rain in a lot of the desert areas for flash flooding to occur, because typically, like I said, you only experience maybe around 5 inches of rain per year. You could get this, you could get up to 5 inches of rain in one shot with this storm, which is definitely very concerning for some of the desert areas in California and even Arizona. Now, taking a look at what the computer models are saying at this point, the certainty is very high. It's pretty much inevitable at this point. Southern California will experience impact, so you need to prepare as if you're under a high wind warning, because the winds should occasionally gust over 60 miles per hour in a lot of areas in Southern California, including in San Diego, where because you guys are under a high wind warning at this time, and wind gusts could exceed 60 miles per hour right around San Diego, which is very strong. Make sure to take all those lightweight things inside, because those could easily be flying projectiles that could damage your or other people's properties. So you want to make sure to bring all those loose things inside, those very lightweight items, because again, they could cause even more damage to your property. But taking a look at Tropical Storm K, we do see that it will continue to weaken as it moves northward. We have seen a trend where the GFS model has shifted K a little bit further westward, which is certainly good news, but you still will experience likely major impacts along the Southern California coast and even further inland, where of course flash flooding and a high wind threat is likely. And the European model pretty pretty much agrees with it, as is pretty much both of the computer models pretty much have completely narrowed down where the storm will exactly go at this point. It's unlikely we're going to see any sort of major or significant changes within the next 24 hours with the forecast, because right around the 1 to 2 day mark when making these forecasts with tropical cyclones, we pretty much narrowed down the general area of where this storm will go. Of course, there's still variations in the forecast that could make a difference in terms of impacts you'll experience, but it likely won't be significant at this point, as pretty much the forecast is certain at this point. This will continue to weaken but still maintain tropical storm strength once it approaches the California area, and of course the wind field will be large enough to where a lot of California could experience sustained winds up to tropical storm force, and of course wind gusts over hurricane force, especially in the higher elevations of California. So you definitely want to make sure to take precaution with this storm, because it's definitely something you don't want to underestimate. I know it's been a very long time since California experienced a tropical cyclone. This will be only the 8th time in 172 years that California could or pretty much will experience gale force winds associated with the tropical cyclone. So I know it's very rare for Southern California to experience a tropical cyclone, but you don't want that to deter you from taking precaution, because this still is a fairly powerful storm that could bring major impacts around Southern California. Now, taking a look at the Futurecast radar to see when Southern California should expect the rain bands to move in, you see it'll continue to move northward, and I'd say by right around Friday morning, that's when you should experience the first rain bands right around Southern California, as we do see some isolated thunderstorms associated with some of these rain bands. And now these are capable of potentially producing flash flooding, so you want to watch out, especially if you're in the desert areas where you're a lot more vulnerable to flash flooding. And if I were to continue to move forward, we do see that the showers are mainly scattered, but it's still, but in total, you're still expected to receive at least over 1 inch of rain. And the higher elevations, of course, you're bound to experience 3 to 5 inches of rain, which is definitely a major concern. And eventually the storm will move further westward, and at least the good news is that the eye won't come extremely close to Southern California to bring a lot more rain along the coast, but you still should experience a good area of anywhere between 1 to 5 inches of rain throughout Southern California. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, taking a look at the rain, at the precipitation forecast, we do see that for the San Diego and Los Angeles area, you should experience around maybe 1 to 2 inches of rain. And however, that rain could fall at a very fast rate, so flash flooding could be an issue, despite the fact that it might not seem like a ton of rain, especially compared to what you're going to experience just to the east of Los Angeles and San Diego, where you could experience 3 to 5 inches of rain in the higher elevations of California and in a lot of the desert areas as well. So this is likely to produce flash flooding in a lot of areas right around the desert and the higher elevations, so make sure to stay prepared for that. Now, taking a look at the flash flood risk, you see that there's a moderate risk of flash flooding right around the Imperial Valley of California and the desert areas, and this even extends to the extreme southwestern portion of Arizona. And we still see a moderate, or at least a slight, chance of flash flooding in San Diego, Los Angeles, and this even extends as far north as Santa Maria as well as Las Vegas. So the flooding should extend further northward as well, so keep that in mind if you're in the Southern California area, that this flash flood threat will pretty much completely cover the entirety of Southern California. Now, taking a look at the wind forecast over the next several hours, we do see that right around 8 a.m. on Friday, there are portions of California that could experience sustained winds anywhere between 40 to 50 miles per hour, especially in the higher elevations. And then in San Diego, we easily could see sustained winds close to 30 miles per hour, which is definitely a major concern. The winds will be coming from the east, and unfortunately, these strong winds could spread wildfires even more, which is definitely another major concern. You might be thinking that, how about all this rain that's going to fall, won't Won't that stop the wildfires from spreading? Well, unfortunately, it won't be enough to really deter the strong wind from spreading the wildfires. So these wildfires are likely to spread thanks as a result of these strong winds, which is definitely unfortunate. And then this should continue all day on Friday, these very strong winds as K continues to move northward, and we still do see that the eye wall very close to Southern California, which is definitely a major concern. And we do see the eye come very close to San Diego, so these winds should even extend as early as Saturday morning for a lot of the coasts of California. And we do see that it's not very far from Los Angeles either. So along the coast of Los Angeles, especially closer to Long Beach, along the southern areas closer to Orange County, you could experience strong winds associated with this, maybe sustained close to 20 miles per hour with wind gusts over 30 miles per hour. So make sure to keep that in mind. And of course, the surf will also be very rough because you could see anywhere from 4 to 8 feet of 4 to 8 foot waves along the coast of California. That should bring a high rip current risk, so make sure to stay out the water because it is very dangerous to swim when there's a high rip current risk, as you could easily get swept away when there's a rip current risk this high, as we do see the very high wave heights just off the coast of Southern California. Now, take a look at my forecast when it comes to tropical storm, K. So pretty much this should continue to weaken as it moves northward, but you should experience tropical storm-like conditions right around Southern California, especially if you're very close to the San Diego area, and even more so if you're in the higher elevations, where you could easily experience wind gusts up to 80 miles per hour, which is over hurricane force. It's suddenly something you don't want to mess around with. Power outages are of course possible as a result of this, and make sure it's best to just stay indoors when there's strong winds like this, because of course there's going to be flying projectiles in the air, and it's definitely going to be more difficult to drive with all that heavy rain and wind. So make sure it's best to just stay indoors for tomorrow, as conditions should be very bad for a lot of Southern California. So make sure to take precaution, as a high wind warning is issued for many counties in Southern California. So it's best to just stay indoors, and I hope you guys in Southern California stay safe. But anyways, guys, I thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more about daily content, and I hope you guys have a great day.